Hey everyone, Donna here. There are plenty of idioms in English for ignoring something that is going on. We've got look the other way. We've got turn a blind eye, bury one's head in the sand. That last one, by the way, to bury one's head in the sand, is referring to or referencing ostriches, even though ostriches don't actually bury their head in the sand. That's a misconception about them. They do sometimes put their heads down toward the ground, like if they're gonna eat something down there, but they don't actually try to hide by sticking their head in the sand because, obviously that wouldn't actually do anything. Just because a person or an ostrich looks away so they can't see something coming, like a predator or, climate change, for example, that doesn't make it go away. But the misconception about ostriches is not limited to English speakers. German has a similar saying for the same thing, den Kopf in den Sand stecken, to stick the head in the sand. Does this saying exist in other languages too? Let me know down in the comments. Okay, so just like that ostrich would still be attacked by a lion, even if it literally buried its head in the sand, which we just learned ostriches don't actually do. If we as humans bury our figurative heads in the sand about the way we are negatively impacting our environment and the dangers of a changing climate, the effects of that are still going to come to fruition. In 2 days, on Saturday, June 8th, it is World Oceans Day, and just yesterday, on June 5th, it was World Environment Day. In English, we have the saying, a drop in the ocean, to mean a very small amount of something. And we say this because we think of the oceans as very, very big. And they are. They are humongous. More than 70% of our Earth is ocean. But this doesn't mean that we can't do damage to them. They're not so big that little old humans can't hurt them. We can, and we are. According to the UN, 8 million tons of plastic land in our oceans every year. And this plastic has really devastating effects on the plants and the animals living there. And it's not just our oceans. The theme of World Environment Day this year is also plastic. I'll link to some more information down in the description box below, but the UN cites that every year the world uses 500 billion plastic bags. I don't even know how to imagine 500 billion plastic bags, but I just know that that sounds like a horrifyingly large number. Okay, so the point of this video is threefold. 1, to teach a few new idioms in English and German. This is a Thursday language video after all. So far, we've got bury your head in the sand, auf Deutsch den Kopf in den Sand stecken, literally to stick the head in the sand. Come to fruition, meaning to be realized. Auf Deutsch, I believe that would be Früchte tragen. And a drop in the ocean, which can also be said as a drop in the bucket. Auf Deutsch, ein Tropfen auf den heißen Stein. Literally, a drop of water on the hot stone. 2, I think this is a very, very, very important topic to talk about. I have been informing myself more and more about sustainable living, auf Deutsch Nachhaltigkeit, and trying to figure out how we can save our home on this planet while still living on it as we do so. And I wanted to share some of the resources with you, some podcasts, YouTube channels, books that Stefan and I have been reading, watching, listening to. I recently watched a video by Ella from Ella the Bee on Nachhaltigkeit, a Kaffeeklatsch that she did together with 2 other women, Talissa and Marissa. And now I've also started listening from that to Marissa's Nachhaltigkeit podcast called Verquatscht. And I think that's such a great name, Verquatscht. And I've been learning so much from that. And I've also started watching Talissa's YouTube videos. And recently she put out a video on Naturkosmetik, natural cosmetics in English, that she uses, which I found really interesting. I had never really given any thought to using natural cosmetics before. I just didn't really think about it. But now I think it's definitely something to look into as the makeup that I already have runs out. Stefan and I also love to watch the Terra X documentaries, especially the ones hosted by Dirk Steffens. They help me to improve my German watching them, and we also learn a lot about the amazing, beautiful biodiversity of our planet that is unfortunately at a risk of disappearing. Stefan has also been listening to the podcast Warm Regards, a podcast that touches on all aspects of our warming planet and what we can do. And he also listened to the audiobooks The Sixth Extinction by Elizabeth Kolbert, as well as The Uninhabitable Earth by David Wallace-Wells. And Stefan told me that The Uninhabitable Earth gives a candid view of what climate change has done to our Earth and the environment we live in, and the future outlook of what will happen to us if we don't take action now. So if you're looking for something to light a fire under your butt to make changes, I will put links and more information down in the description box below. You know, I don't know what light a fire under your butt is in German, but basically it means to motivate you to move quickly into action. Is there a German saying for light a fire under your butt? Let me know down in the comments. Interestingly, the podcasts and videos that I mentioned for me are in German, and Stefan's are in English. If you're feeling like a fire has been lit under your butt and you'd like to do something right away, you could check out the open petition Artenschutz ins Grundgesetz, Biodiversität und Ökosystemleistungen erhalten. In English, basically putting species protection into the German Constitution, sustaining biodiversity and a functioning ecosystem. I will link to this and other things that I mentioned in this video down in the description box below. And 3, I would love to hear from you down in the comments about what you have been reading, watching, listening to on the topic. What are your thoughts and ideas? And maybe share the actions that you have taken so that we can all learn from each other. The way to change begins with education and becoming more informed on something. So please share down in the comments your tips and your thoughts on the topic. So my question for you is, what I just said there, what are your thoughts, the actions you've been taking, the media you've been consuming on this topic? Please let me know in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching, and a really big thank you so much to our patrons on Patreon who support us on Patreon. Thank you so much for your support. And thanks for keeping an eye out for new Wanted Adventure videos on Mondays and Thursdays. Until next time, auf Wiedersehen!